I think it was about 4 months ago. I was standing in the ring at All In, and I was surrounded by the best fans in the entire world. I felt like I was trapped in this literal wall of sound. It was your belief and your passion. It started a fire.
The three of us and a cast of our bandit friends disrupted the very way that professional wrestling functioned. We broke all of the rules. We were eventually approached by the Khan family, and they had a question for the three of us. The question was, do you guys really want to change the world? We said, yep. They said, we can help.
You guys are the #2 company and haven't had a show yet.
I mean, the amount of interest we've generated, it's for very good reason. We have the best performers in the world. This is a collection of the best performers in the world. Like when I said we had the best minds, we do, but we also have the best in-ring performers, and at the end of the day, that's what's going to set us apart. I don't want to compare us to any other wrestling company. I mean, we're AEW. We're doing something very different.
Guys, it kind of feels like, it smells like, I don't know, it seems like this is a revolution.
From the time I was a little kid, I wanted to be a pro wrestler. I really didn't have much of a choice. And of course, because of second generation, and because I'm not just any second generation, I'm Dusty's son. Then I grew up on TV in front of everybody. A full, solid decade of being there and learning from some of the best, getting in the ring with some of the best, having some amazing, life-changing moments. Met my wife there, and some people know how the story ends.
When you're so hungry and you're sitting behind WWE stage and they're not utilizing you properly, and your hands are tied because creatively they got nothing for you, it's bull. When you're hungry and young and fresh and as good as he is.
I thought I'd won enough battles and filled enough blocks. I thought it was my time. They didn't.
At some point in somebody's career, you gotta say, okay, money isn't everything. What you believe in, what are you passionate about? Why stay? Go out, capture the world.
My biggest fear in my career was that I would not win the world title while my dad was, still alive. And that fear came true. I never won the world title. He never saw that. When it didn't happen, I had nothing else to fear. I still don't. But I've never felt more like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I've never felt more unafraid than when I left WWE, and after 10 years, never missing a live event.
There's only one person that needs to see you at this spot, the top of the ladder, and that's you. And Cody, well, he had that inside of him.
Wrestling has bubbles. If you're on the independent scene, or particularly at like a hot indie, you're in that bubble. Same with WWE. We were in the WWE bubble. Nothing exists outside. And even if it does, you're really not watching it. So when I, burst the WWE bubble and sought out Matt and Nick, because they were, two of the folks I contacted, I genuinely had only ever seen one match. I'm smart enough, I feel like, in wrestling to know if your name is out there floating around this much and you're this endorsed by so many folks, there's something you're doing great.
When Omega and the Bullet Club started selling t-shirts at Hot Topic and selling out in a national distributor like Hot Topic, except they weren't on any national TV, that's huge. And right then I said, there's something happening with the business.
I think if you're unfamiliar with Kenny Omega, or unfamiliar with the Young Bucks, they're the perfect window into what wrestling is today. You move that into being the first wrestling pop Funkos that aren't WWE. Another thing that Dana Massey, Matt, and Nick Jackson they're just fearless in their efforts to get it.
Well, I have my first official Funko Pop. This is the
First time
first.
seeing it.
It's number one, the first of its kind of. You guys are the actual first of its kind.
I haven't seen this one in person yet.
I saw the pictures, I saw the concept art, but
Yeah.
this is to actually hold it.
So cool, right?
And to hear, they have the saying at Funko, Disney numbers. To hear that we did Disney numbers for supposedly a bunch of indie wrestlers. It's a good, bat of confidence for us. Matt and Nick, they're the most fun thing in wrestling. They were not just told you weren't going to make it, they were told you're not going to make it at least 20 times by 20 different experts in the field, and they just kept moving forward. I saw how grassroots they were, how hands-on they were, how real they were, their fans. That's the thing I appreciate about them the most. I think their matches are outstanding. I genuinely do think they are the best tag team in the world, but I like how they treat people. Those are two people you can make not just a friendship with, but a partnership with. Kenny is a really out of this world thinker. He takes influence and inspiration for his matches from weird parts of pop culture and things that entertain him. He's just a really special artist and professional and performer. He puts so much into those outings. He leaves it all out there. He is the best big match performer in all of wrestling.
I always wanted to branch out, and I wanted to kind of show our crazy ideas. I wanted to perform for the world, and I felt like we were contained in a small little bubble, and I wanted to show what we do live to our wonderful fans everywhere, and I wanted to do it all the time, full time.
We embark on a new journey that is all elite wrestling. If it wasn't for a promotion like this, developing young and upcoming talents that indeed will debut for AEW, we would not exist. And that is why I will never forget the roots that I came from and the fire that burns within me to be a wrestler, to be a performer, to be someone that represents what I believe wrestling should be has been reignited thanks to each and every one of you.
I genuinely believe in the vision for wrestling that Matt and Nick and Cody have, and it's the same idea that I have about what wrestling can be. It can be a little bit of everything. You might not like this, but you'll certainly like that.
I have been in the ring with Hangman in a number of tag matches where I've literally looked at him and thought, this is the best wrestler in the Elite. I know that the Elite has Kenny Omega and it has Matt and Nick Jackson, but he has something.
I guess in wrestling, I always kind of wondered, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? You know what I mean? Am I in the right group? Have I found kind of my calling, I guess? And I wasn't really sure until I started working with Matt and Nick and Cody. And when I started working with those guys, I kind of figured out these are my people. This is what I'm about. This is what I love to do. I think they've inspired and driven me, and I hope that I've done some of the same for them.
And it was right around the time I was deciding, I'd love to put my, hang my hat somewhere for a little bit with Ring of Honor. They've got a family and they've got a hardcore fan base. And that's when I told both the Bucks, I think we can do this on a big level. I think we can run a big arena, actually sell it out, and do our own thing. And we were all under contract to Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor did something incredibly kind. I thank Joe Koff and Greg a lot for it. They allowed us to do it. And not only did they allow us to do it, they said, hey, we'll help in any way we can. But all this was happening before Dave Meltzer ever tweeted me. So much of what happened with All In was legit serendipity, legit. Things just coming together. When I sent tweet, when I pressed the button, my life changed.
Now's the time. Matt, Nick, myself, we are self-financing an event. All In. The goal is 10,000 people, and the place It is my honor.
No.
It is my.
I get to announce where it is.
Why do you get it?
Why? You don't even have the damn shirt on. You selfish.
Whoa.
We're running this show.
Whoa, wait a minute. No. Listen, I'm the brains behind the operation. I have the biggest arms in the group. It's my time.
No, look, I'm making the announcement. I got a Sharpie, I stretched out my hog, and I've written.
The idea to do our own show, to do a show for wrestling fans by wrestlers, sounded very romantic, and most industry experts were, dooming it to fail. And the amount of pressure that came with it as we built to September 1st was...
All right, guys, who is ready for All In?
Today is a historical day. Today is monumental for my brother, myself, for Cody, for the rest of the guys in the back. As you know, tickets go on sale tonight, 4 p.m.
And the website SearsCenter.com is already experiencing very heavy traffic.
I'm in a virtual waiting room.
I think
like
that's a
the
good
Matrix.
sign, though, right?
It is.
Yeah,
Hopefully you're in that
Poor
waiting
Flip's
room
still not booked.
with 9,000 something people. Hopefully.
How do you feel right now, Code?
Honestly, just nervous and scared.
Yeah.
Like a little boy. I feel like a little
It's a good
boy in a
feeling.
suit. But it's such a good feeling.
Cody!
That's awesome.
That's nuts.
We gotta do a vlog. We have to,
Right
right?
now.
Oh, there we go.
I'm already rolling.
Holy. What are we? Let's see.
tell 'em what happened.
49 minutes. We're
Well,
at
it sold out in
49
30 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
It sold out in 30 minutes.
I don't know if we could officially say it.
It is. I just tried to buy a ticket.
I think we have to technically
just-
wait until we get the call from the box office.
But
it looks good.
It looks
and
like
it
it's
looks
sold out.
like the hype is lived, and I'm so proud. It's crazy.
Chicago's a great wrestling town, so I wasn't really that surprised that they had a good crowd. I didn't expect it to be sold out. So they're changing, they're flipping the script. They're doing their own thing. I think that the fans out there's enough fans out there that want something else.
All right, guys, all of you, I'm so proud of the three of you.
Thank you, man.
Oh,
thanks, Steven.
All of you, you leaned into this and you did it, and I cannot wait.
I was so stressed. I'd never written a format before. I never held a production meeting before. Matt and Nick were working on all kinds of things, back of house things for a show.
Tomorrow's the big day, guys.
Unreal. That set looks amazing.
Yeah. You guys got butterflies?
I'm sick to my stomach. A
A little bit.
Good job, boys.
We got.
Be proud.
Hey, when the people walk in here, they're gonna be blown away. They're like, I can't believe these guys put together this.
Yeah.
This is a huge set.
Every seat is filled.
Guys, be proud.
Be proud,
okay?
guys. Thank you.
We all work
We're here.
hard.
We've arrived.
We're
We
here.
got a kiss now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we might as well.
Shall we? I love you guys.
I was gonna try to turn this into a comedy bit, but
No,
It's real.
this is real.
We're looking at this, watching this happen here in front of me. Let's go take a picture.
Cody came to us with this wild idea. He said, Young Bucks, Bullet Club, I think that we could put 10,000 asses and 10,000
There's so much I got out of it personally from the match I was in and all the stuff you see on the screen, but behind the scenes, the biggest thing I got out of it is we built a team.
It didn't take just 3 men. It didn't take just the Young Bucks and Cody. It took each and every one of the people standing in this ring. This was a group collaboration. I just want to say thank you for letting me be part of history. But most important, thank you guys, all of you. You guys Wrestling. We are pro wrestling.
It was more about being told what we can't do, whereas with Double or Nothing, we want it to be for those telling us what we can do. I know it was just one show, but there's 11-something thousand people, and there's more than that.
And that big question of what happens next with this group, we are sticking together.
I was told, Tony told me, I am the executive vice president, so I should make the announcement.
I was told I was a vice president. No, actually, I have it in my language that I'm the EP. It's in my contract.
How many people? We can't have 3 vice presidents.
Come on.
Are you? Is it? You're also a vice president? Where is Tony?
Fine. I got it. Why not on 3 we do this together? This is what we always do. We can do that, right?
Okay, that's fair.
On 3.
On
3. Let's
the
do
second announcement on 3.
The big second announcement.
All right, are you guys ready for the second announcement? On 3. 1, 2. We're running May 25th in Las Vegas, Nevada at the MGM Grand Garden Arena.
Will you guys follow us to Las Vegas?
Definitely means a lot that this is happening in Vegas. To be frank, Vegas is not the best market, not because it doesn't have the best fans, great fans in Vegas, but it's a tourist city.
When people hear there's a show, and the card is Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega, well, you can stop right there, because that's gonna draw. But then add in Chris Jericho as the headliner and all this other young talent like Hangman Page and the Lucha Brothers, well, that's gonna create a buzz, a momentum building buzz.
I'm Chris Jericho, and I am all in with All Elite Wrestling!
I think this is going to be the next level of wrestling right here. I'm ready to buy my tickets right now.
It's a very exciting time for All Elite Wrestling after selling out Double or Nothing in just 4 minutes. 12,000 tickets sold at the MGM Grand in just 4 minutes. It's unprecedented in Las Vegas pro wrestling history. The first time ever that a show was sold out in less than a day, never mind less than 5 minutes.
We just got lucky, we got blessed. I mean, 9 countries, all states domestically, Puerto Rico, DC, and to sell out in under 4 minutes. May 25th, Las Vegas, MGM Grand Garden Arena. There's not a better place to literally go Double or Nothing.
The doors have been swung wide open when it comes to talent acquisitions for All Elite Wrestling. I mean, we have become a company where everybody wants to go work.
So with pro wrestling, there's a upper echelon, an elite class of pro wrestlers. You hear people talk about their top 5, top 10. It's no different with pro wrestling commentators. I think AEW is going to get their hands on the actual greatest of all time.
There he is.
What are you guys doing here?
Come to see you.
2 years ago in March, my wife got killed just a few blocks from where we're sitting right now. And I suffered a lot of depression. I lost my best friend. I had to get out of the house, and I had to get back in the game. Dusty Rhodes told me one time that when you give your jersey away, you can't play anymore. So I didn't want to give my jersey away. I still think I have things to offer. And every time I've had these heartbreak situations, every time I have been down, the wrestling fans have picked me up. When you're in the wrestling business, the business becomes your family. The fans become your family. I don't know what else I could do right now in my life that makes me happier than what I'm about to start. I want to be able to be a role model and a mentor to this young roster. I want to be involved in a physical, athletic presentation where it's the most important thing in these talents' lives is winning this match. The opportunity to do something new, to help present something new, with new ideas and new blood and a new direction and a new way of looking at pro wrestling was more than I could pass up.
Jim is timeless, and in my opinion, he's the greatest of all time.
The it factor to me can't be taught. The it factor is somebody that works their tail off day in and day out to become the absolute best. Hangman Page probably could have went anywhere he wanted to. He could have asked for any amount of money he wanted to because Hangman Page is what we call a star.
Today was my first day on the job. You are my boss, and for that reason, I will work harder than I have ever worked in my life to make this a success because you deserve it.
I'm really excited about young athletic guys that are getting the break of their lifetime to see how they handle it. They can't just be a regular guy anymore. You got to be a star. And you got to be a star every night. Every night you're representing the company, you got to be a star. Because this is the greatest opportunity perhaps of their lifetime.
The number one question I have been asked since the company was announced is, will there be a women's division? Absolutely.
The women's brand of AEW is extremely important because we are at the, I guess, midpoint of the boom of women's wrestling. We are being taken much more seriously than we've ever been taken before, and it's because the women are putting the work in and they deserve it.
This year, I'm the only girl to return to compete in a wrestling match from All In. So be it all eyes are on me, that's fine.
I'm the biggest underdog. I know that, but I love it because it makes me work harder. I don't care if everybody in AEW underestimates me because I believe in myself.
See, I'm not your average cookie cutter chick. I break and that's exactly what I'm gonna do on May 25th at Double or Nothing.
Whether you know who myself, Kylie Rae, and Nyla Rose are right now, you won't be able to forget who we are after May 25th.
Nick and I have noticed a trend lately. We've known the last several years. It feels like tag team wrestling has become like somewhat of a lost art. Our goal, our main objective, is to give you fans the best tag team division in the world.
Oh my God! Ray Phoenix, Penta El Zero M, right here in Las Vegas.
I'm ready for this tag team. The Lucha Bros might be the best one. Young Bucks might be a little bit in trouble.
But like Penta and Phoenix are firing on all cylinders right now. They're on the road. They're hitting it hard. They're in the zone, right? And we're sitting at home. And we're not in that zone right now. So if I have any fear of the Lucha Bros, it's the fear of them being so on and us having a little bit of ring rust and not being able to keep up. That's in the back of my mind, but I know as good as we are, as long as we've been doing this longer than they have, in fact, that once the bell rings, I think it's all gonna come back.
We just came into Mexico and took these championships
in Las Vegas, and Penta, you dropped me on my head. I had my own press conference, but you know what you did? You kind of woke the sleeping dragon. You woke us up. Nick and I, we were kind of complacent for a long time. We were like, you know what? We're the best tag team in the world. There's no one really that even compares. But you dropped me on my head, Penta. You woke me up, and now we went to Mexico, and we dropped you on your heads again, and we took these from you.
Young Bucks, estén listos. ¿Y saben por qué? Porque nosotros somos los Lucha Brothers y tenemos cero.
Why don't we make something official right here, right now in Chicago? We've got a show on May 25th in Las Vegas. It's called
Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks.
This is not a new beginning for me in my career. I have done it all, literally. 30 years in the business. My legacy is intact. I am Dustin Rhodes.
I love my brother. I have always loved my brother. When you're a little kid and you're going to the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, and here he comes, tall, blonde, every woman in the place going absolutely nuts for him. I'd say at one point he was my hero.
Anytime you have a brother versus brother, it's real. It's a dysfunctional family reunion.
I know everything there is to know about my little brother, Cody. And he is one egotistical son of a bitch.
You got one younger one that's trying to help run a company, and it's got itself spread pretty thin. And you wonder what kind of effect that's going to have on his in-ring game. I don't know. You don't know either. You got another guy that's got something to prove. He's 50 years old. They got the same father. It tells you a lot because they're both warriors. I don't know what it's going to take for one to beat the other, but I know it's personal, and there's nothing better than a personal issue in a pro wrestling match.
And this notion of brother versus brother, of natural versus nightmare, it's all very marketable, it's all very romantic, albeit not very accurate. This match is generation versus generation. You paved the roads for us, but gosh, you set the speed markers at 35 because you are terrified of any of us putting our foot down on the pedal.
You don't think Cody's making a mistake having a match with me? I do.
When that animal can't go anymore and it falls out on the trail and it knows it's going to die and it wants to die, you pull from the hip, you roll your fingers on the steel of the chamber, and you blow it away.
Cody is facing his reckoning.
I am not here to kill Dustin Rhodes. I'm here to kill the Attitude Era.
The world is going to get all of me, everything that I have.
Like I said, I love my brother.
One last ride, or is it?
Omega and Jericho are two of the biggest pieces of the foundation that this company is going to be built on.
I am now a full-time member of the AEW roster.
Out of nowhere, Jericho came out and they were doing a stare down. At that moment, Jericho just slapped Kenny in the face and they started going at it.
The pressure's on, man. The pressure is on. Kenny Omega is a phenomenon, but for Jericho's fragile, somewhat sizable ego, he can't see himself losing.
Every week I laugh when I watch this pretentious, head up his own ass Cody Rhodes doing his road to Double or Nothing, sitting there in a fancy suit with a cane, acting like he's running the show. It's the biggest facade I've ever seen. Cody does not run the show. I run the show. Tony Khan runs the show. I'm Chris Jericho. I've destroyed all the boundaries. I've broken down all the walls. When I signed my name on the AEW contract, suddenly all of you become very wealthy. And your heads have blown to the size of Mars. You're breaking your own arms from patting yourselves on the back over and over again. Look what we did, look what we did. You didn't do. I'm the greatest wrestler, period, in the world today, with the longevity of almost 30 years of being on top, and nothing is gonna stop me from getting the thank you that I deserve, that I have earned, that I have brought upon myself for making AEW the hottest wrestling company in the world before we even had an official show. Nobody else in the world could have done that except for me, Chris Jericho. I don't want to change the world. I'm going to change the universe all by myself. was a kid, when I was younger, when I had known that I am going to do this, I'm going to try being a wrestler. But it's going to be difficult to do it from Winnipeg, right? You don't hear of too many people that have made it out of the city, except for Jericho. And I thought, what makes it different? What makes him special? You know, the path that he chose. You know, whether it be, you know, his career in Japan, Mexico, ECW, WCW. He was always unique. He was always original. He always found ways to stand out. And whether it be through his sheer wrestling ability, his physical presence, he was a guy with a very complete tool chest. And, you know, much like a Madonna, he is able to find ways to reinvent himself whenever he wants to be relevant. But I see the man that he's become. And as much as I can give him credit for being someone, but have to throw everyone that gets in his way under the bus by making everyone else around him expendable, that's what I don't respect. And that's what Chris Jericho's become. After my last match, I saw myself a mere shell of the man that I used to be. And then I signed with AEW, and I was consumed with office work. I was consumed with getting this thing off the ground, and I forgot what made Kenny Omega special and what made me me. And so I stood there after a heartbreaking loss against two guys from my local Indian, Don Callis. And that was a wake-up call for me. Chris Jericho was hard enough to beat the first time around when I was in the prime of my career. But for right now, I can hardly look at myself in the mirror. I need to be bigger, I need to be stronger, I need to be faster. And how do you achieve that? You have to take yourself to the limit, you need to blast through plateaus. So we're not just doing static lifts, we're not just doing compound lifts, we're not just doing bodybuilding training for aesthetics. We're doing everything that it takes to get the job done and get me to the next level, to bring me back to that Kenny Omega level that everyone's expecting. I've got to build and rebuild that old Kenny Omega and come with something brand new, the best version of me. Chris Jericho has always been a cerebral athlete. You know, I know he's not working out in the ring. I doubt he's even really lifting weights. His goal has always been to outsmart his opponent, out-savvy him. You know, his experience goes back, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years. Possibly one of the greatest of all time. Who knows? You can make an argument. The greatest of all time. Sure, I'll say it. I'm not going to stay awake at night wondering how it is that he's preparing, because I kind of know what he's going to bring. I just need to be ready for the trickery. And here's the thing. The first time we met, no holds barred, no rules. You had your way with me. You made me bleed. I barely came out with a victory. And that was on your rules. That was on your terms, Chris. Now this is just a match. You have to abide by the rules. So either you have some crazy plan or you really think that you can beat me man to man. And that's why I don't have to worry about how you're training, because there's no way you can train like me. There's no way you can train harder than me. And I have to make sure that every step of the way that I wake up early and I train. I study your matches and then I train. I diet properly and then I train. And to make sure that I'm ready for this match, because you only got one chance to have a first impression. And at Double or Nothing, it's going to be the ultimate first impression of what Kenny Omega is all about. But it's all working towards that goal, the end goal, which is to be the face of this company, the ace of the company, the quintessential star. And really, the guy that owes Chris Jericho no thank yous. When I saw the weights going down, I said, this isn't the Kenny Omega that I want to bring to Double or Nothing. I knew I had to make a change. And that's why we're here. This is the place where I can find my zen. This is the place where I can have some peace and quiet and focus on me. Yes, I haven't forgotten about my responsibilities, but here I can accomplish more than what I can in any gym. This is my place where I prepare for Chris Jericho. I knew going into Double or Nothing that I wanted to be the best Chris Jericho that I could be, and to shock myself and do something I'd never done before. I had a little bit of a reunion with a good friend of mine, Dave Batista, and he built and designed and organized his own MMA gyms. There we go. Going in the gym, doing the same half lazy workouts that I've been doing for the last 10 years wasn't gonna cut it. Kenny Omega's one of the best performers, if not the best performer in the world today. Our record is 1-0 for Kenny, and I don't like that. I'm putting my entire reputation, my entire career on the line by agreeing to face Kenny Omega in the very first show.
Kick.
I can't lose.
Elbow. Nice.
Because when you have the biggest star, one of the biggest in the world, and by far AEW's biggest star, we have to look good. And if I lose to Kenny Omega, who's basically, even though he's one of the greatest performers in the world, is basically a nobody to the mainstream audience, it's gonna look bad for the company. AEW needs me to win. AEW should want me to win. And I know I have to win. I'm learning techniques that are sharpening my skills as a striker, sharpening my skills as a fighter, but most importantly, giving me the cardio and the intensity and the drive that I wouldn't have just training by myself. And I want to come in there at the absolute top of my game. Now I'm coming in with a whole different style of cardio, a whole different approach. Empty stomach cardio is what I'm doing now. It means I wake up in the morning, I do the responsibilities as a father and take my kids to school, then I drive directly here. It's an hour from my house and it's worth every minute. I'm hungry and I'm starving, but I'm hungrier and much more famished and much more starving to beat Kenny Omega, May 25th at Double or Nothing. And I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that happens. Failure is not an option, losing is not an option. I've never been a shooter, so to speak, and I'm not a shooter now. I'll knock your teeth down and throw it if I have to. I think that while Kenny Omega is at home playing video games and building cottages and going to charity events and hiring his buddies that no one's ever heard of before and thinking this is all one big joke, I'm here taking this very seriously. This is the most important match of my life. It's the most important match in AEW's very short history because you either make it or break it on this show, and you either make it or break it on the strength of the main event, on the strength of my back. People always laugh and say, it doesn't matter if you lose or win in pro wrestling. Yes, it does. It means everything. It means everything to me, especially this match. And I'm doing everything I can to make sure I get the upper hand and win. My trainer, Josh Rafferty, and I were doing some drills, and I did a spinning elbow, basically to the face. And I thought, this is gonna be the new finish.
He picked up on the spin elbow really fast. And you know, a lot of people don't know, a spinning elbow technique is one of the most dangerous and deadly strikes in martial arts. Most martial arts don't even teach it anymore. It's that deadly.
The Judas effect, something that I'm gonna debut in AEW, something that's gonna be exclusive to AEW and continue the constant evolving of Chris Jericho. If I connect with this move, I don't think it's gonna go well for Kenny or any other opponent that I face in AEW from this moment forward. So beware the Judas effect, because it's gonna knock you the out. Going to every match, every big match, there's a goal. And I'll train specifically for that goal. And I won't stop until I achieve that goal. People still say, Jericho, your match with Naito at the Tokyo Dome was the greatest match of your career. That was the last match I had 3 months ago. What about the other 3,000 matches I had before it? Each one keeps getting better than the last. And the one slip, the one black mark on that perfect record for me is the loss to Kenny Omega, January 4th, 2018. You're challenging someone that people call the best. You're challenging that next level athlete. If you're not gonna come in with some grandiose plan, Chris, you're not gonna have a chance. And that's not me being overconfident. I'm not trying to be egotistical. I'm just telling you that's how important I take this match.
And for the last 15, 16 months, I have been burning, thinking, yearning for another chance. And I have to make it go away. And the only way to do that is to beat Kenny Omega May 25th, Double or Nothing in Las Vegas.
The success of this company is very important to me. The success of Double or Nothing is paramount. And I can't see it being a success if you're the captain of the ship. If you make that first opening statement that I am the man. If you make that first opening statement that you beat Kenny Omega and that you want to thank you. We can't have that. That's terrible.
Nothing is going to stop me from beating Kenny Omega. And when I win, you are going to say thank you on behalf of AEW.
I'm not as naive as I used to be. I'm not going to trust my childhood hero, Chris Jericho, anymore. I'm ready for whatever it is that you bring to the table, Chris. I think what you need to worry about is what package am I going to bring Double or Nothing? Because whatever storm that you're bringing for those first few minutes, I'm going to weather. And after that, it's going to be the Kenny Omega show.
On May 26th, everyone in the world is going to be talking about Chris Jericho and about how Kenny Omega thanked him in front of the world for all he's done for all of you. You're welcome.
Jericho! Eric Bischoff taught me years ago, there's better than and less than. And whoever is the best, everyone else is less than, unless they're different than.
So let me ask you guys, if not us, who? And if not now, when?
It's an art form. And like all art form, it needs to be expressed in its own way. You know, they saw what wrestling was and realized what it could be.
If people expect the same thing and you give them the same thing, that gets old really quick. AEW is coming along right at the right moment.
All Elite, a promotion, a company that welcomes all gifted talent. We don't care about race or gender or sex or religion. If you're an elite athlete, we want you.
We have a room full of hungry, talented, and gifted and people that are friends. You guys feel like my family, and there's no way that we can fail. We have a group of fans that are passionate.
As a pro wrestler, the more pro wrestling, the better, and that's good for everybody. It's good for the fans, it's good for the wrestlers.
Go back and look at just about any form of entertainment, and it's all changed. And I think this is a really exciting time in the wrestling industry.
I feel like we're all nervous a little bit too.
This giant mountain that we have to climb. This mountain is bigger than Everest. It's a mountain nobody's even been to the top of this mountain.
Because we're putting our names on the line.
Everything on the line.
Our careers are on the line.
And I think that's why there's so much at stake, and I think that's why the fans are rooting for us, because they want an alternative. They want something different to watch.
I really want this company to succeed, and I really want this to be a product that puts the fans first. I want it to be something that will not only be beloved by wrestling enthusiasts, but for people that have never watched a show before in their lives.
All Elite is really just the best chance for wrestling fans to get what they've been asking for over a decade at this point.
I started off a wrestling fan, I became a wrestler. I consider myself back to be a wrestling fan. We're here, we're invested, we're gonna be there, show us what you got.
We want to set a new standard for all of pro wrestling, for all pro wrestlers, and for all pro wrestling fans, and we get the chance to do that.
you.